It's spooky season.
I wish there was video for that.
It's spooky season, man. I'm excited.
You know what that means?
It's starting to get cold out.
Spooky pussy.
This is gonna be a very different episode that we normally do. We normally come over here and talk about music and all that shit, but honestly, I just wasn't feeling it tonight. We're just gonna do something different.
It was hard to talk about music.
Yeah, we tried, but
it's hard to keep up with our fan base.
So today we're gonna do a little something different in honor of it. You know, start almost Halloween and shit. We're gonna come on here, share maybe some ghost stories.
We should have done this from the beginning of October. It's late.
No, it's not.
What is today?
It's like
October 13th?
Yeah, as of recording, it's October 13th.
As of recording, October 13th, long overdue. Weren't we supposed to have a special guest to help us out with some spooky?
Yeah.
We still might.
It's still, yeah, we could probably
October is still young in October. Before Halloween, hopefully.
So, we'll just come up here and, you know, first off, I just want to say, I love shit like paranormal shit. I love it, dude. So
I just watched The Last Exorcism the other day by myself. This girl, I haven't seen it before, like last week, and this girl was telling me how fucking creepy it was and how she couldn't get past a couple scenes, blah blah blah. And I was like, all right, you're hyping this up too much. I haven't seen the movie before. I've seen a couple exorcism movies before though. So I watched this movie, and it was actually pretty fucking creepy, but I think there's a difference between scary ghosts and religious scary movies, because it's not more of like scary, it's creepy.
That's one thing I don't deal well with. We can talk about ghosts, we can talk about serial killers all day, but the minute you start to talk about demons and shit,
and the devil,
I'm out, dude.
It's
Fuck
different.
that, dude. So, real quick, do you believe in ghosts?
I don't think I've ever experienced in my adult life or from as far as I can remember, a real life ghost encounter.
Mm-hmm.
And if I have experienced one, I mean, it was as a child, which I barely remember. So, but yes. And people say I'm crazy, but I want to encounter I want to have that ghost story to tell people. You know what I'm saying? And people think I'm fucking crazy. They're like, why would you want to see a ghost? I'm like, because it'd be fucking awesome.
Do you
believe in ghosts?
Yeah, I do believe in ghosts. I've had some ghost encounters, but the thing is, mine aren't really reliable because I'm blind. So for all I know, like, it could have just been
very true.
So, I've had some. I remember one in particular. I remember our cousins telling us that her house was haunted, and she seen a little girl, and I saw that same little girl.
I remember that. The Lupa's house?
Yeah, I saw that same little girl.
Peeking around the corner?
No, like, I was walking past the hallway, and for some reason I turned around, and as I turned around, I saw something run across the hallway, and I jumped. It freaked me the fuck out.
I remember you talking about it.
And I had told my cousin, and she, like, what I described was the same thing that she has seen. So it scared the fuck out of me, to be honest. But then again, I'm blind. It could have been my mind playing tricks on me, but I know what I saw. You know what I'm saying?
And how old were you?
I cannot remember, dude. That was so long ago. But I do remember that encounter. I had another encounter.
Was that your first, I'm guessing?
No, I don't think so. The thing is, a lot of my ghost stories are mainly ghost stories that are passed down from other people. Like, I used to think the house we live in now is haunted, but even if it was haunted, honestly, like, it probably wouldn't even really faze me, because we lived here so long that
we would have, like, I would have to, like,
we would have
so many times I've come out to the garage at, like, the middle of the night.
Well, dude, I still get the creeps sometimes. I'm not gonna lie to you, but, like, our cousin who came to visit us from Mexico, I remember him vividly telling me a story that he was sleeping in the living room, and he had woke up in the middle of the night to go use the restroom, and he said that he saw a little boy and a little girl standing right in front of the bathroom.
I still feel like he was trying, because we were young.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know if he was just trying to scare us.
But didn't Abuelita have some stories?
Okay, our grandmother,
she used to live in this house.
Our grandmother used to live in this house, and she had said,
we're like summoning them as we
stop,
speak.
Dude, stop! I don't want to hear it.
It's late. It's like 2 a.m. So we it's spooky hours right now.
Yeah. They say nothing good ever happens after 2 a.m. So.
All right.
But our grandma said that she was home alone and she started like she thought that someone was like watching her, or like someone had walked in the room and like said something to her.
I remember the story. I remember is that Grandpa would work late nights, and she fell asleep. This is the story I remember. She fell asleep on the living room, and that she witnessed like a person, like, or a little girl maybe, skip or walk across the room.
Fuck no. I don't even want to do this anymore. We're gonna press stop. Another story I remember from
But then again, they could have just been. We were young.
Yeah, they could have just been fucking with us. Yeah, I don't know, man. But then again, I've had something like that where so I had a dream one time that I was being chased by like a black dog.
I do have a lot of bad dreams in this house.
I had a dream that I was being chased by like a black dog, and I don't want to say it was a demon dog or anything, but it was chasing me, and when it got close to me, like, I woke up in fear, and I was awake when this happened. I woke up and I heard, no! So whatever was chasing me was mad that I had woken up. Like, I was awake and I heard no.
That's a little weird.
Yes. That was a little freaky. You know what I'm saying? I had another time. I remember this particular time our I don't know if it was our laundry machine or if our dryer, it had broke. So you and Mom had to go to the laundromat, and I had fallen asleep in the living room, and I was home alone because everybody was at school or something. I'd fallen asleep in the living room, and I was like awake, but I was asleep, right? Mm-hmm. And I could feel like I wanted to push myself up off the couch, but something was like pushing me back down. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was just like holding me back down, and I could not, for the life of me, like, I'm literally like pushing myself up off the couch with all the strength, and something just shoves me right back down to the couch, dude. I've had
a lot of those,
but that
dreams,
was years ago.
I feel like they're just sleep paralysis.
That was years ago, though. I haven't had that in so long.
I had one experience when I was younger. It was around 5th grade, and it was broad daylight. It was a snow day. School got canceled because of barely any fucking snow.
Wait, and this is a dream or is this real?
No, I was wide awake.
Okay.
I'm hanging out in the room. I'm watching America's Best Dance Crew. I swear to God, Jabberwockies was my shit. They were dancing and whatnot, and I'm leaning back in my chair, and I have I've always, I don't know why, but I'm obsessed with the cold weather. And I would always like crack open the window or open up the window, because I wanted the cold air to come in, and so the blinds were open in the window as well. And I'm watching TV right next to the window, and I remember I'm just sitting there watching the America's Best Dance Crew, because for some reason that was the shit back then. And I look out the window, and right outside our window, if you remember, we had like that brick wall. Mm-hmm. That, like, directly outside our window, we had, like, that small little, waist-level brick wall. Mm-hmm. And right in front of the brick wall, there was a dog. A huge fucking dog. It almost looked like a wolf. Mm-hmm. It was, like, a husky-looking dog. Mm-hmm. And it was huge. And it was, like, it wasn't, like, up right close to a window, but it was between the brick wall and the window. And it's just staring into the
house?
Into the room. And the windows, cracked open. So, like, I'm sure, like, it heard noises, and that's why it was staring into the room. But I look at it, we make eye contact, and we're staring at it. And for some reason, I get really scared. Even though it's outside of the house and everything, for some reason, it did not give me a good vibe. And I'm leaning back in this chair, and by the time I get down, and I'm, like, freaking out. I just want someone else to see it. I'm like, do y'all see? Because it was a beautiful dog. It was huge. And by the time I, like, try to get anyone's attention or say anything, I look over and it's completely gone. Never seen it again. Like, and the window, I mean, you could see the whole, you could see the whole view. Mm-hmm. And it's nowhere to be seen. But 0.5 seconds ago, it was staring at me outside the window. It was nuts. And I had another experience where I went, it was also with a dog. I went outside to the backyard. I don't know if I was throwing something away, or like I don't remember why I walked into the backyard. I might have been throwing something away. I might have been, taking a piss outside. But I think I was taking a piss outside, and I look over, and over by where we keep our trash, there was a big black dog in our backyard. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, holy fuck. So, I don't want to get attacked.
Which to me isn't that scary, because
it isn't, but
because we have neighbors, their dogs get in our backyard all the time. So,
but I get kind of freaked out, so I start walking back like towards the house because I'm peeing. Mm-hmm. So I have to finish the pee, and I'm staring at this dog, and it's dark outside. It's nighttime, so I could barely see the dog. I just see him walking, and I'm like, oh shit. So I start walking back, like, to the inside of the house, and it walks out of the fence. Mm. So then I was like, holy shit. So then, me being stupid, I go outside the fence and try following it.
Like, that's how horror movies start.
I tried following it because I'm like, I don't know. I'm also a dog lover, so I want to see the dog. So I walk out of the fence. I walk all the way to the intersection, like the middle of the street, and for the life of me, I can't find this dog anywhere. It literally disappeared. I'm starting to walk back to the house, like to go inside, and it starts walking out. So I'm like, okay, like it's fine now, like I'm far enough. So then I start, it takes me a minute to walk out of the backyard. And by the time I get out to the backyard, which you would think it would be right here in front of the driveway, or like somewhere still right here in front of the yard, is nowhere else to be found.
It's disappearing.
And that, for some reason, always stuck with me. I was always... And this was, like, not a long time ago. I was, probably 19 years old. Maybe 20. So it wasn't that long ago. But, like, so I know I'm not, like a little kid imagining, like, oh, this is crazy. Like, it probably sounds a little ridiculous because it's like, oh, well, it could just run away. But, like, if you could imagine the time frame, by the time it walked out of the backyard... I'm like, okay, I'm good. And I start following it. And by the time I get out to the front yard and then walk into the middle of the street trying to look for this dog,
it's gone.
It's nowhere to be found.
It's crazy you mentioned dogs because I have a
Well, I mentioned it because you said you had that dream about dogs.
Well, okay. This also leads to another thing. Our dog, Bella, I remember when we first brought her home. Not maybe when we first brought her home, but she was it was within her first year living with us, right? And I still remember. And you might not be a religious person, you might not believe what I'm about to say, but on God, it is the absolute truth. It was probably 2-3 a.m. and Bella's barking, like horribly barking. Everyone's asleep, and it sounds almost as if she's being attacked. She's just freaking out, right? And to the point where I get scared. You know what I'm saying? Because it's starting to freak me out how bad she's barking. And I start to pray. I legit start praying. I was like, whatever is here, please, like, God, like, help us. You know what I'm saying? Like, I started getting that freaked out. And the minute I got done praying, Bella stopped barking. You know what I'm saying? I don't, like I said, you don't have to, I don't know.
It only happened once?
It hasn't happened since. But I don't know what it was. It might have, you might not be listening to this and might be religious. Always a coincidence. But it was just crazy. The fact that Bella was barking that crazy, freaking out that bad. And I start praying and whatever, she just completely stopped. Like was like calm afterwards. It was crazy. And I don't think anything like that has ever happened since.
It's nuts because they say about like the whole animals and...
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They see... scary type spirits and shit.
Yeah. And that's why they say, like, around Halloween, you always hear, like, dogs in the street, like, barking, freaking out, like, late. Mm-hmm. Because, I mean, if your parents are religious, especially if you're Hispanic parents, you probably grew up and your parents were like, Halloween is the devil's birthday, and all this crazy shit. I remember going to school, and, like, our teacher was going to be like, hey, so what are you guys doing for Halloween? And I was like, we're not doing anything because it's the devil's birthday. And my teacher was like, the fuck? Like, and I think they even, like, sent a letter home or something like that. And Mom was like, don't be telling the kids and what, like, we told you here.
That's what you said. Fuck.
Yeah. So, like, I mean, growing up, if you're Hispanic, your parents probably did say those things, like, it's the devil's... To this day...
It's crazy because... Mexico is one of the most haunted places.
Bro, it is so freaky out there. When you go...
anyone here who thinks they have scary stories...
Go to fucking Mexico, dude. Go to fucking
my
Mexico.
My coworker, Gabby, told me this story about... okay, so in Mexico, at least back then, they had basically outhouses. They didn't have any restrooms inside the house. So, to use the restroom, you basically have to go outside, walk across the yard.
A lot of houses are like that still.
Yeah, into an outhouse, use the restroom there, go back inside. So, if you had to use the restroom in the middle of the night, you had to go outside. But she told me a story about her friend or her neighbor, whoever it was. It might have been about her. I can't remember it too well. But she told me how in the middle of the night they would see glances of like a woman, you know, walking and like crying or singing.
La Llorona?
No. She was like, she might have been singing or like talking, but you know, people would like see her and like, you know, be like, who's this crazy ass woman, you know, walking outside in the middle of the night, and blah blah blah. You know, it would you know reoccur. It would happen almost every night, and you know, people like multiple people would see her, and then they would all describe her the same. She's wearing the same thing, blah, blah, blah. She's always talking or singing, blah, blah, blah. And she told me a story about how, I think it was her neighbor, had to use the restroom in the middle of the night, went out to the outhouse, and when she opened the door to the outhouse, the woman was inside of the outhouse.
What the fuck?
And... she was in complete shock. Like, she didn't scream, she didn't cry, she didn't yell, nothing. She was just frozen. And the woman was basically frozen too. Like, she didn't yell or anything. And she basically just shut the door and ran back. And then when she told the story to her or whoever else, they were like, that's the exact same. When she described what the woman looked like or what she was wearing, they were like, that's the exact same woman that's always walking around outside in the middle of the night.
She could just be like some homeless girl that, like, you know.
That's what I said. But at the same time, why would she be in the middle of the night, be walking around the same time, you know, singing?
First off, Mexico's haunted as fuck, bro.
Mexico's
It is fucking scary when you go. I've heard cousins say that they slept in a room and that they woke up and somebody was standing over them and shit. I've had personal experience, like when I went, every time around 3 a.m, the dogs outside, because if you ever been to Mexico, they don't keep dogs like us as pets. They just wander the streets. You know what I'm saying? They're just like any other animal in Mexico. They just wander the streets. So dogs at like 3 a.m, like freaking the fuck out. You know what I'm saying? And I chalked it up to like, oh dude, it's 3 a.m. And it's like, it's late at night. You know what I'm saying? That's probably when the cartel's out. And, you know, they're making these dogs fucking fight or something like that. Like, that's what I chalked it up to. You know what I'm saying? To make myself feel better. You know what I'm saying? But really, it's probably like they just...
You made yourself feel better by...
Bro, because in Mexico, they have witches. They practice witchcraft down there. Like, and someone who's not of Hispanic descent probably is like, witches. I
have a story about witchcraft.
Oh, yeah?
I've visited Mexico once in my life. It was a 1-week trip, which started out as a 1-week trip. So, I didn't know at the time that I was going to Mexico for this reason. I thought it was just, me and Dad trip to Mexico. So, apparently Dad was really sick, is what they said. We took Dad to, Grandma and everyone was there. We took Dad to, how do you say the word in Spanish? Brujuda, something like that?
Yeah, brujura, some shit like that.
Yeah, basically like a witch.
A witch doctor, I guess.
A witch doctor. Someone who performed black magic to cure you.
And everyone who's religious, like, is always like, don't do that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, which is weird that grandma and everyone, like grandma was the one that took us to her.
Yeah.
So apparently my dad was very, very, very ill, and they took us to literally bumfuck nowhere. Literally, it was like straight out of a scene of a movie. So we're driving on a dirt road for hours. We finally get into, it's like basically almost like ranches. It's just a bunch of like chickens and like people owning a bunch of land. And we drive up to a gas station next to houses. In this gas station, it's a convenience store. In the back is where this couple lives. They own the convenience store. In the back, they also perform this black magic like treatment. So the first day we get there, they light candles for everyone in the room. So it's me, Dad, obviously, Grandma, Tia Lupe, my Tia Midian, I believe she was there. I think Ricardo was there. It was just like whoever from America came over there to go visit. And, you know, they start off by, they rub us all down with roses, blah, blah, blah. It was just a weird ass situation. I thought it was a one-day thing. I didn't know what was going on. The next day we go again. We take this trip out there again. And I say hours long drive, but it was probably like 1 hour, 30 minutes to an hour long drive. But it felt like forever because it was just roads of nothing. It was just dirt roads.
So wait, the first night all they did was rub you with roses?
They basically, I mean, I'm not paying attention. I literally I'm in there with my headphones on. Like, I don't know what's going on, you know? I just thought it was like a family member, like someone I don't know that we were visiting. I have no idea what's going on. Still, until I start paying attention. So the next day we go in there. They start rubbing us down with flowers again. This time, petals are starting to fall off the roses while they're rubbing down Dad. That's when they tell us that he's sick. You know, we leave a couple days go by, we come back. Now the candles that were lit for everyone, they're all out, but Dad's is the glass candle that was in is completely black. And everyone else is just regular, like the wax is all gone, blah blah blah, the lights off. But Dad's is like black around the glass. And that's when they're like, your dad is sick, blah blah blah. They rub the petals on him. They rub the rose on, like the flowers on him, and all the petals start falling off the roses.
And you're watching this happen?
Yes. And they're saying like, oh, you're like, you're sick. You need to be cured right away, blah blah blah. And if you're following a time span, we're only supposed to be there a week. So 2 days of this stuff goes by, and this isn't our first 2 days there. 2 days goes by, it happens. A few days go by, and then this happens. So when we were supposed to come back, and then they tell us, like, you have to be cured, that's why we stayed an extra week in Mexico. That's why Mom had to send us money and everything, because they were like, oh, you can't leave yet. This is what they told them. They were like, if you don't get cured, this sickness, blah, 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 is going to be passed down to your son. Me. Which, this is why I thought it was bullshit, because I was like, I'm not the firstborn. No, I'm serious. I was like, I'm not the firstborn. Like, why would it... Like, are you just saying this to scare him because I'm in the room? Like, are you trying to get money out of us? Like, blah, blah, blah.
So you're skeptical.
Yes, because back then, in 8th grade, I was really big into philosophy and stuff. Like, I didn't believe in God. You know, like, I was a thinker. I questioned everything in the world. I didn't believe in God either. So I was like, I I was like, this bitch, I literally in English, I would say it. I was like, this bitch is just trying to take money from us. I would laugh while it was all happening. I'd be like, what the fuck is going on? Little did I know, they're from California. They speak perfect English. So they understood me laughing and telling jokes and shit. And I would be saying it to Tia Lupe and Ricardo. I'd be like, what the fuck is this? Like, blah, blah, blah. Like, I was like in 8th grade, 9th grade. I didn't care, you know what I'm saying? I was a little shit. But they were like, yeah, if you don't get cured, the sickness is going to pass on to your son. So we stayed another week. Dad would get cured.
Quote unquote cured.
They would rub him down with the eggs and do all that shit and, you know, crack the oak. And I remember the weirdest part, because I witnessed it, was besides like the petals falling off, because like it's not like they're doing it with their hands, like pulling them off. Like, they're literally just rubbing them down with the flowers, and they would start falling off. The candle, a little sketchy, because we're not watching it. Like, we don't see it like burn. You know what I'm saying? So that's a little sketchy. I mean, that could be fake. But I remember watching. They're doing something, like they're massaging Dad or something, and Dad has a lot of pain in one of his legs. And
I think it's the leg that he broke when he was younger, right? He broke that leg.
It might have been. I don't know. I thought he broke his arm. I don't think it was a leg.
He had broke an arm and a leg at one
Okay,
point.
maybe. But they're massaging him, and Dad's like yelling. He's like screaming in pain. And they start doing this weird stuff. They start pinching down on his skin, and slowly they start pulling out like pieces of metal out of his skin that it almost looks like a paper clip unfolded, like super long. Like, they literally just start pulling it out of his skin. I witnessed it. And Dad's just screaming in pain. So, like, it's really hard. It was really hard to watch and, like, to think it was, like, fake. Because I'm watching Dad scream, and we're all surrounding them and watching them pull it out of it. You know, like, it could have been, like, a little magic trick or something, but I wouldn't know how to explain it. But apparently he got all cured, and it didn't pass down to his son. And then we paid him some money, and then we got the fuck out of there.
So that was like the one part that made you question, like, whoa, okay, this might be real, when they started pulling stuff out of his.
It was just hard to watch because it's hard to fake it, I guess.
The one thing I don't get is because, like, if, like, Dad.
I just wish you were there because my memory is awful now. But there's things like that I cannot forget. And if you ask Dad, I mean, he'd probably be able to tell you all about it.
Dad told me a story, like, while y'all were there. He said, while you guys are there, like, you're going to hear voices that tell you not to come back here. And he was like, don't listen to them. He told me, he's like, they told him that, don't listen to those voices. And he said, well, correct me if I'm wrong, I might be wrong, but he told me at one point he got so scared that you were sleeping on the floor, I believe, and he had said, Jose, like, come up here and sleep with me on the bed because I'm, like, freaked out.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah,
So that's what I'm saying. My memory is so awful. I forgot all about that. Sorry, I don't want to lose this. I forgot all about that until you brought it up. But yeah, they did tell him. They were like, you're going to hear, like, voices telling you, you know, don't go back, you know, blah, 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 like, trying to convince you. And I do remember, because, I mean, it was a lot of us living in one house. I would sleep on the floor. He would
Where'd y'all
sleep
stay at? Which house did y'all stay at?
Tia Rosi's.
Tia Rosi's house is haunted already.
We had it good in that house.
I heard our cousins told us that Tia Rosi's house is already haunted. They saw a man in their room one time when they spent the night there. Maybe.
I didn't experience anything bad in her house besides Dad did wake up freaking out one night and asked me to come share the bed with him. But other than that, like, they're rich compared to. I went to Mom's side of the family. Luckily, I did not have to stay there. No, I don't want to sound mean, but like,
I like going over there.
That's like poor.
I like going over there, and they have a nice one. They have some fucking. They make good food.
They have fun. They have fun. But it is what you expect when you think of Mexico.
If you're bougie, then you're not gonna want to stay there.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's crazy because like.
I should write a book.
I heard like Theo told me one time, and I'd have to ask our cousin, but he said that everyone was asleep, and that him and Jessica were the only ones that were awake, and he said that they were driving.
Theo?
Yeah, Theo Layo, and he said that they were driving down the road, and that they literally saw a witch on a broom zoom right by them, like in front of the car. And I did not believe that shit. I started laughing my ass off. I was like, "Shut the fuck up! There's no way."
He's like, Kawasaki.
He's
bike
like, "You don't believe me." He's like, "I don't care."
There was a woman on a Kawasaki
They're
bike.
like, "Y'all don't have to believe me, but I saw what I saw." So yes, in Mexico is some creepy shit. They do be practicing witchcraft. So. I've never experienced anything like that. I'd probably be freaked out. Were you scared when they said, like, this is going to pass down to your son? Like, did that freak you out at all?
I mean, thinking back, kinda. But you gotta remember where I'm coming from at the time. I'm a kid, or I'm younger, and this is all fucking fake to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the whole time, I'm like, this cannot be real. I was like, are we seriously paying? Like, are we wasting time here? Like, this is fucking ridiculous. Like, I literally just thought of it, someone, like, trying to take money from us. You know, like, some desperate family that thinks something. Just like in the last Exorcism movie that I said I watched, like, the guy was literally showing the documentary, like, how to pull off a fake exorcism and trick the family into thinking that they, you know, have something wrong with them, and they pay him, and then boom, you know, out of nowhere he realizes, oh, this is fucking real, and, you know, it turns into a whole thing. Like, I was thinking the whole time, I was like, this cannot be happening.
Mm-hmm.
Until I saw, like, the whole, like, pulling things out of Dad.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, the pain and hearing Dad scream is what kind of got me, because you're not gonna scream, and it's not like they were hurting him. They were literally just massaging him,
mm-hmm.
and he was crying in pain. Like, and Dad's not gonna make it up, you know. He does over exaggerate a lot, but he's not gonna make that shit up. You know what I'm saying? So it was hard to watch.
Yeah, well, that's kind of freaky. I'm gonna try and change the subject. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you wanted to bring it up, some spooky shit.
It is spooky, man.
So I've never really experienced like some ghost type shit.
But you have experienced that.
But I have experienced some weird stuff.
I would honestly.
And I don't know how I just block this stuff off. Like, I don't care and I don't think about it. You know, like, you brought it up. Like, did that affect you? Like, passing it on. Like, what was gonna pass on to me? Like, Dad's demons that he had inside of him. Like, what?
I would honestly think like the when I heard them say Dad's sick, I thought it was alcoholism. That's what I thought. Like,
it was bad back in the day, but I don't think you would go to, resort to black magic to get that shit out of you.
Mm-hmm.
And even then, like, I don't know, it is creepy.
Yeah.
It's very creepy to think of, and it sucks because, like, it was just me and Dad, and from this...
They wanted me to go that time, and I was like, no. So...
Why?
I don't know, I was just like, I don't want to go to Mexico.
I was down. I was like, yeah, this sounds like it was awesome. My first time ever experiencing Mexico, it was awesome. Besides that, It was fucking awesome. You know, like, besides all the starving dogs that you were talking about living on the street, like, it was fucking awesome. I had a blast. You know what I'm saying? But I did experience some creepy shit, and I don't know how I just, you know, block it off, pretending like it wasn't a big deal. When I think about it, that was kind of fucked up. You know what I'm saying?
So you've never experienced a ghost. If you were to experience a ghost, how do you think you'd react? Like, would you even be scared?
How could you react?
Like,
would you
even be scared? Like, honestly?
I mean, yes.
Like,
I'm not gonna sit here and be a macho man.
If I was to tell you, like, hey, let's go to a real haunted house, where there's real ghosts, like, would you go in there skeptical, or would you go in there expecting?
I would go in there
shit?
skeptical because if it's like a haunted house for like a paid attraction, I would imagine that there's like almost like wires, like things that they set off.
What about like somewhere like Baker's Hotel, where it's known to be haunted, people trespass all the time? Like, what about that? How would you feel? I'd probably,
I would explore it, but I mean, I heard it's just filled with homeless people.
I was gonna say I'd be more scared of the homeless people than I would about experiencing a ghost.
I would definitely go. I would go to a real haunted house as well. You said that you could pay to spend the night. I don't know if I would. It sounds fun. If I had a big enough group and I was sleeping with someone in the same room as me,
no, I wouldn't do it.
Yes, I might do that.
I would not do that shit, bro. Fuck no.
If it was like 3 or 4 of us sleeping in the same room and I didn't have to stay by myself,
dude. They say that it's $200 and there's no refunds. So if you leave in the middle of the night, you're not getting that fucking money.
They make
back.
you sign a waiver, apparently.
Yeah, because I saw something that said like we are not responsible for any physical or psychological pain or damage. I was like, fuck no. Like, I don't know if I want to go now.
But I'm sure thousands of people do it.
I'm sure thousands. But, okay, how many people... I told Mom I wanted to do it. And you know how Mom is. So, and she's like, you're going to bring the spirits back to the house. Do you think that you could, like, the spirit...
Attach to you
and come home?
I mean, probably, but I doubt it.
I feel like we don't know enough about that kind of stuff to be able to, like, know. You know what I'm saying? What about a Ouija board? Would you do a Ouija board?
I would do a Ouija board. I've tried to do a Ouija board before.
How did that go?
We were all drunk and it didn't really work out. You know, which is crazy because my friend, I think it was my friend Mario told me about it.
Oh, the Ouija board story.
Yeah. So, growing up, they had a Ouija board. Not him, but his mom had a Ouija board. They played it. I don't remember exactly details, but basically, short story. Mario, if you listen to this, if you could back me up or fix whatever I'm saying is wrong. But basically, the story went like...
His mom had... From what I remember, his mom had a Ouija board. She wrote her name on it, too.
They wrote their names on it. Or they wrote their last name on the back of it. Because it was theirs. And they would use it. They would play with it, blah, blah, blah. Basically, they got real freaked out with it, and they tossed it or they gave it away, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, they gave it, threw it out or something like that.
And years later, I think her brother, his uncle, at a garage sale, found a Ouija board and bought it. Just to have it. Like, just to, bought a Ouija board.
Mm-hmm.
And then, turns out, the same Ouija board.
It was the same Ouija board
that has their last name written on the back of it.
And they say, like, if you write your name on a Ouija board, and even if you get rid of it, it always finds a way to get back to you.
If you write your name on it?
Yeah, it finds its way back to you.
I heard if you don't dispose of it. What is it? Like, if you don't dispose of it right,
if you don't,
the spirit never rests or something?
Let's say it's kind of like opening up a portal. And if you don't close the portal...
You, like, summon it, and if you don't dispose of it right, like, they're never gone or something.
Mm-hmm. But also, I wouldn't know if I would do a Ouija board, because a lot of the times Ouija boards, they're mainly, like, demons who are acting as spirits to kind of, like, fool people and stuff like that.
See, like, I feel like when we tried to do the Ouija board, it was with Mario.
Mm-hmm.
He had a Ouija board. It wasn't the same one with the name written on the back, but it was a Ouija board. And we were all drunk, blah, blah, blah. But I feel like we didn't actually want to play it. I feel like we were all, like, kind of, like, freaked out but didn't want to say it. We were just, like, we were drunk, but we were, like, like, too scared to actually, like, dedicate and, like, play it. I feel like we were all just, like, laughing and fucking around to the point where we're like, yeah, this isn't going to happen. And we just put it away.
Mm-hmm.
But...
Y'all fucked around and not closed it and shit?
I don't know.
Because Mario said his house is haunted, did he not? I remember
Mario did say his house.
I remember him saying that his house is haunted. I don't know. I always get freaked out whenever I spend the night at a friend's house and they say their house is haunted. I always find an excuse to go home, too, whenever I hear that it's haunted. I'm like, yeah, I think like
I
Mario's.
spent the night at his house before. I had no problem.
I'm like, Mario don't live that far away. I think I could walk home
He
from
doesn't.
here. I think I could walk home from here. Like, I'll always find an excuse. Like, Brian, he lives, like, maybe, like, 2 minutes away walking. And he'd try to get us to spend the night sometimes. And I'd be like, nah, dude, I think I'm cool. I think I'm just going to go home tonight. You know, sleep
You're like,
my
I gotta
home.
poop. I'm leaving.
Yeah, I think I'm just going to find a way to go home, you know. But, yeah, I'm not down for that shit, bro. Fuck.
You
no.
wouldn't play one?
No, not a Ouija board.
I don't see a problem.
I don't fuck,
with
like
it.
I said, ghosts is one thing. But demons is demons and all that shit is a whole new category that I'm
I don't think Ouija boards are just demons. I think it would be spirits. Maybe some good spirits. And that the same thing with ghosts. It's just fucking spirits.
Oh no, man. Like I said, I think a lot of the times those are just demons like acting like that.
So if you believe in ghosts, do you think right now, like, they're just roaming around right
my
now?
theory, and not to get too religious, but like my theory is like what ghosts actually.
So everything with you is basically just religious based?
When it comes to that, maybe, but what I thought spirits were, or you know how they say like ghosts are people that never were like can rest. You know what I'm saying? Like they can't rest in peace. So my theory on that was like people that let's say they had a mission in life, or like a purpose or something that they never got to fulfill. So they're like still roaming the earth because they're like unfulfilled. And that's why people claim to see spirits from another time period, because those are people that are like in their own time period living their life. You know what I'm saying? Does it make sense, or am I kind of like...
Do you think that's like their own personal hell?
I don't know if that's hell. I think that's just...
Think about it. Like, they never fulfilled their dreams, so they're roaming the earth miserable, not being able to rest in peace.
Maybe. I mean, I don't know, because like, I mean, I've had people like tell me like, you know, hell is on earth. So maybe that could be it. Like those people are like the people that never...
I think when people say hell is on earth, I think they just mean the evil that goes on in earth. Mm-hmm. Like on earth.
No, that's a good point.
Because, I mean, you can't believe in God without denying the fact that the devil and demons are real.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it's a good way of putting it, man. That was just my theory of like why we see ghosts. You know what I'm saying? And yeah.
So are we doing this haunted house thing? You're the one that sent me the link and everything.
I want to do it, man, but the more and more people try to tell me, the more and more I get freaked out. So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. That'd be cool.
I think it'd be really fun to get a group of people.
It would be a good experience. I think we could do it and then come back up here and say what we experienced. You know what I'm saying? That'd be pretty cool.
So your ideal trip? Who's going on the trip?
Oh, Mikey already hit me up.
Shout him out right now.
Mikey already hit me up saying he's down.
Shout him out right now. Who's going on the trip?
Mikey already hit me up saying he's down. I don't know who else would go, but Mikey was like, I'm fucking down. I'd probably bring Tyler because he's white. He could fucking...
He's Native American.
He's Native American.
Most of the spirits are his people. I'm just saying.
So I don't know, man. That's a good question. We'll get them to come on, come to the haunted house list, and then come up here and see if they see anything. You know what I'm saying? All right. So we've talked about ghost stories. Enough about freaking us out. I'm off of that.
I'm fine.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna have a tough time sleeping.
I'm good right now. If you tell me some more freaky shit, I might feel a different way. But for right now, I'm okay. Besides thinking about, the shit in Mexico that went down. It would have been crazier if, like, it was an old woman with, like, a glass eye. You know what I mean? Like, I don't remember what this woman looked like. It was a woman and a husband. And they had a couple kids. It was literally a family-owned convenience store.
I'm off that, dude. I don't even want to think about witches and shit no more. That's crazy to think about, but I'm done. Alright, man. Well, I think that's about it for spooky season of this episode. October's still going on, so who knows? Maybe we might come back with another episode. If someone has like ghost stories.
I'm shouting out Brett because we were supposed to have him on soon for conspiracy theories.
Yeah, we have an episode with our homie Brett. He's coming on soon. He's coming to talk about with us conspiracy theories and shit.
Returning guest.
Returning guest. So That should be cool. That should be coming up. And I want to announce right now, this is episode 19 of the Memo Podcast. Episode 20, I can't believe we made 20 episodes already. Yeah, we did take a little break, but we made it to 20 episodes.
Is it 20? I thought we did season 2. I thought we started season 2.
Yeah, we're in season 2, but we're like...
So I don't think it's episode 20. I think this is episode like 3 now.
No. We're in episode season 2, but this is episode 19. It still keeps going. So we're about to be 20 episodes in, and I just want to say, I think it's only right. Episode 10 we did with Jose, I interviewed him, so I think episode 20...
Which is a bomb interview.
Yes.
For those who, I'm sure y'all watched it, but...
I think your episode was the most
We got a lot of love on that
I think
one.
your episode was the most viewed episode.
Because it was me, dude.
But episode 20, I think we're going to continue that tradition, but only flip it. Episode 20, I'm going to let Jose interview me. So, episode 20.
Yes, and I'm going to have some raw-ass questions for Memo. And I'm not going... it's not going to be, rehearsed or nothing. I'm going to write down questions for Memo. It's going to be off the dome. I want genuine answers. And the questions... He's not going to know these questions. I'm going to write down a handful of questions.
I feel like I'm going to regret...
Because for my episode, I'm pretty sure I was... informed of the question, right? Like you
knew some of them.
I knew some of the questions that were going to be asked, so I kind of knew what direction we were going to. But Memo is the host of the show, and I kind of just want to hit him with some... I'm not going to ask no stupid-ass questions. I'm just going to more in depth of who Memo is, and because right now you're just like kind of the voice. Mm-hmm. But we don't know much of your background story at all.
Unless you know me, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Don't make me regret this decision, Jose.
Of course. Nah, what?
So, alright guys. Episode 19, spooky season. Cheers to the episode, guys.
Cheers to the fucking episode, boys.
And we will be back next week with the historic episode 20. Adios.